Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee and today I'm going to show you how to put up a tomato trellis, a cattle panel tomato trellis. So I know that there are so many different ways that you can trellis your tomatoes, and that's fine. Do whatever suits you. This is how I've been doing mine, and I've really enjoyed it. So I actually have already put this up and I took it down because I'm moving it. I do raised garden beds and I want to rotate my crops this year. So I'm putting the tomatoes in a different couple of beds. So I wanted to move where I have my tomato trellis. So I figured I would just shoot a video showing you really quickly how to put it up because it's actually pretty easy. So if you've been intimidated by this, I wanted to show you that little 5-foot me is going to put this up by myself. I say it's easy because I don't need my husband's help. I can do it by myself, but it is a bit of work. There are 4 things that you're going to need. Obviously the cattle panel itself, however many T-posts you need depending on the space that you're doing, a rubber mallet, and zip ties. Again, there are more than one way to skin a cat, so if you want to use different tools, you're welcome to, but this is what I use to put up my tomato trellis. All right, they're all in. I won't lie to you, that's the worst part. It really sucks. If you had one of those like T-post, I don't know what the actual name is for it, I'll have to look it up, but it's like you put the T-post goes in it and you like pull down on it. T-post driver. I really would love one of those. Towards the end, after I got them all in there decently well using the rubber mallet, I did go get my husband's sledgehammer to just really get it in there the last couple inches. The reason I didn't use this from the start is because I'm just not very strong and the above the head action is really hard for me. These T-posts are 6 feet tall. I'm 5 feet tall. So when I'm very first starting out, they're a foot above me. So I'm, trying to, it's just really hard to do with the sledgehammer. But once it was more at eye level for me, I was able to tap it in really well the last few inches using the sledgehammer. So I didn't remember it being this difficult, and I realized it's because when I first put these in, I put them into beds that had just freshly been filled with soil, so that soil was really nice and loose and fluffy. And now it's 3 years later, the soil is a lot more compact than it was when I first put these in, so it was a much harder job. But we did it, and it still was just little 5-foot tall me that got those in. So now I want to point out to you that it's going to be difficult to tell on camera, but I staggered them because I actually run the cattle panel through them. And I also alternated every other post, the little notches or like nodes that are on them that stick out, facing out, and I alternated them facing out because I like to rest the zip ties against it to help hold it in place. So this is actually really efficient at holding up a cattle panel. Staggering them this way, I just run it right through them, and you'll see what I mean because we're about to do that right now. This is the other part of this process that it's difficult. I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like, yes, it's easy in the sense that there are a few steps, there are a few supplies that you need, and one person can do it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy, not a lot of work easy. And it's only because the cattle panel, this is a 16-foot long cattle panel because these are 2 8-foot beds. It's just a very long cattle panel for one person to try to manage, but I did it before and I'm going to do it again. So let's go ahead and get the cattle panel in here. Notice that I have these little notches facing out, and the cattle panel is going to run along the back of it. And that's because I'm going to have the zip ties rest along those notches, and it helps hold it. Notice that this is a very tight fit in between here. It's such a tight fit that I'm actually having to come in here and pull it so that each one of these can get past this. And that's part of what makes this so efficient. And it's kind of a pain in the butt when you're trying to put it together, but it's very efficient in holding up the trellis. Now, really the only place that you need zip ties, and it's a good idea to have pockets so that you can have them right with you, the only place you really need the zip ties are at the ends, because you notice if I let go, it can just swing like that end over there has swung. And so the middle is obviously holding it up, but you need to zip tie the ends so that it will stay in place. So I'll go ahead and zip tie this end and then I'll head over there. And then once I have both ends secure, I will zip tie it, because if you notice, these T-posts are just wild. They're just, I didn't hit them into the ground straight, and they're just kind of doing whatever they want. So I will zip tie them to the T-posts, and it will help bring them together and just help kind of keep it more stable. And there you go. Now it's nice and straight. This is very well supported. It's not going to go anywhere if we get like crazy winds or if something blows into it or just, I don't know, whatever. My tomato plants will be well supported and I don't have to worry about them falling. In fact, this has been so successful for me that in years past, I've had my tomato plants grow up feet above it. I mean, it really has done an excellent job as a tomato trellis for me. Again, I know that there are so many different ways that you could trellis tomatoes. I know that people do the cages, and I know that you can do the string method where you like drop down strings and you like tie them up the string. And I would be interested in doing that in the future, especially if we ever do like high tunnel tomatoes. I would probably do that method. But out here, this was very affordable. It's really easy to manage. I just replaced the last 2 years that I had it over in the other bed. I just came out at the beginning of the season and put on new zip ties. And that's really it. It's really easy to manage. And with me taking it down and putting it back up, other than the tedious job of having to hit the posts, the T-posts back into the beds, which I really did not enjoy, it's really easy. It's not difficult. And so I just wanted to come on here and show you that as an option if you're trying to figure out, you know, how you want to go about it. The last thing that I will tell you is how I do my tomatoes on here, and I stagger them. I go back and forth. I will plant a tomato plant here, and then I will come down a little ways and I'll plant one here. And then I'll come down a little ways and I'll plant one here. And then I'll come down a little ways and I'll plant one here. Hopefully that makes sense. I stagger them, going back and forth the trellis all the way down. And that's in a pretty intensive way of planting tomatoes because I have them pretty close together that way. But as long as I keep them pruned, and I did not do that very well last year, and I still got a great crop, a great harvest, but not as well as the year before. So this year we're staying on top of pruning. But as long as you stay on top of pruning, you can plant intensively like that. You just have to really keep up on it, because the closer your plants are, the less airflow there's going to be, the more pest pressure there may be. So I just wanted to, you know, mention that. You do have to be aware of that. But yeah, planting them intensely like that on this raised trellis system has worked out really well for me for years now. Well, this will be my 3rd year doing it this way, and I'm really excited. So my tomato starts are looking really good. We're gonna go ahead and get those planted out here soon. It is May now. We do have a couple of nights that are gonna get down to the low 40s, like 43, and that's a little cool for me. So I'm probably gonna wait till we get past those nights, and then I'll get my tomatoes planted out. And I really needed to go ahead and get this done so that I could be ready whenever it is time to plant the tomatoes. So thanks so much for hanging out with me while I showed you this little tomato trellis idea, concept, and let me know if it's something you're interested in trying in your own home garden. Thanks. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith, my friends, and keep moving forward. Bye.